Welcome back to the Run Radio podcast. My name's Trina. My guest today, recommended by Billy Wiegand from the Contributor Corner. You hear her every Wednesday giving advice to entrepreneurs and such. And Run Radio is all about running your life literally and metaphorically. So welcome, actor, filmmaker, host Lenny Hernandez.
Hello. Trina, thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it.
Yeah, I'm glad to have you. I recently got to do the red carpet for the Sado 48 award ceremony, and that was such a blast. There's so much talent right here in the Midwest, Springfield, Missouri, especially. And you're one of those talents. So tell me about how you got into all of this.
I am originally from the Ozarks, specifically from Springfield, Missouri. I went to Central High School. I went to Drury. I went to Missouri State. I literally am a graduate from Missouri State's theater program, their BFA acting program. Right out of college, I moved to LA. I lasted about 6 weeks because it was so expensive. It was so it was so overwhelming that I didn't know how to survive out there whenever I first moved. And so then I moved back to Missouri for a little while until I realized that I should save a lot more money to then make the move out west again. And so I did. I did a very good job saving money for over about 18 months and then moved to California again whenever I was 25, where I spent the last 12 years living as a working actor, in California and Los Angeles. And then I recently moved back to Missouri 2 summers ago.
All right. Why'd you come back here?
Well, I came back because there was a lady here. And so I was flying here to her. She was flying there to me. And then during the pandemic, it just made more sense. Everything moved online. So all of the auditioning moved to self-tapes, which I teach. I help actors learn how to navigate the self-tape world here in the Ozarks. So if any actors out there are needing some coaching on your guy, I've been auditioning for with self-tapes for 4.5 years now. About 55 to 65 auditions every year that I've had to film in my basement.
Yeah.
And then submit out. And so that's kind of like the run around is. So when everything moved online, I decided I could do this anywhere, so I might as well do it where my lady is, my person is, and somewhere where it is the cost of living is a little bit more inexpensive.
Yeah, I hear you. I hate that the pandemic happened. I love, though, some of the advantages that we got from that, where people started using the technology we already had to do things like what you're saying. I mean, my voice coach is in LA, so I'm thankful that I am able to do. I mean, I wouldn't have, 5, 10 years ago been able to even do those things. So what is it like, though, to do an audition in your basement after you're being in front of people? Is it very different?
So I thought it was going to be harder to adjust to it than it had been. But honestly and realistically, it actually has made the actor world a little bit easier, in my opinion, because you are able to kind of control your own environment. Whenever you were auditioning in person in Los Angeles, a lot of times, I recognized and realized that I did a lot better the second or third time I went to a location because I wasn't worried anymore about like the non-acting things. I wasn't worried about parking. I wasn't worried about making sure I got there on time. I wasn't worried about finding the location, the door, because every place that you audition for is like, you go to this big building and you audition on the third floor, way on the east or west side of the building, and you have to find the paper that says casting this direction, and so I realized whenever I was doing that a lot that the second or third time I went to the location, I was more comfortable and to just be the character, right? And so now that everything is filmed at my own, on my own time, at my own pace, in my own house, I'm able to control the environment more and control those non-acting things. Those are all gone now, and I can focus purely on the acting side of stuff. And so actually, me personally, I love doing the self tapes. I love being able to control all of those things
Yeah.
in my own, on my own time and in my own world. So
Do you do more filmmaking or acting these days?
um honestly, I'm doing a lot more acting stuff. I'm booking since I moved to Missouri, Kansas City has a pretty good hub of for SAG stuff, part of the Screen Actors Guild. And so because I'm a member of SAG. And so I'm auditioning actually out of Kansas City quite a bit, and I'm booking a lot. And it's my opinion is because there's not a lot of people who are SAG and who look like me
Yeah.
in the area. And so because of that, I'm booking quite a bit out of Kansas City. So I'm doing a lot more of the acting stuff, being paid for the acting stuff. And then the films that the filmmaking side of things are, I'm writing, and I am uh pursuing the back half of the film festivals for my short film Paradiso, which is, you can see here some of my awards
Yes.
for Paradiso,
Yes.
which is a short film that I did, which I did 2 summers ago, that we've been making the festival circuit. We've been taking the festival circuit the last year or so, not year, since October. So
That's exciting. What was that like? Tell me.
yeah, the festival world has been nuts. Like, being a person who has, like, I have relied on other people to give me jobs for
Mm-hmm.
so long. As an actor, you audition, you audition, and you hope that the other person casting will give you an opportunity, right? And
Mm-hmm.
so since I did that for 12 years, I learned a lot about the casting process. And then when I wouldn't get cast, I knew a lot of people who were working the production side. So I would work production if I wasn't cast in front of the camera. And so then all of a sudden I started learning behind the camera stuff. I started
Yeah.
learning filmmaking from a different lens, if it would. And so I realized I could do this. I could do that. And so I had a short film that I found that I loved. I loved the story, the structure of it, the characters, and then I decided I would put in all of my own money to then produce, star in, and make a short film.
Did it change the way you act?
Um, it changed my view, not necessarily act, but it did change my view on what I want to do as a performer, as an artist. What avenues can I do and use to kind of fulfill my creative cup? And it isn't just auditioning for commercials, auditioning, for uh, small parts, bit parts on TV shows. It's, yes, I want to do that, but also I have the means and I have the knowledge to do my own filmmaking, to do my own projects, and then those things fulfill my creative cup faster than auditioning for the commercials and booking the commercial stuff. Now those things pay great. Don't get it twisted, because those
Yeah.
things pay amazing.
Right.
um but on the creative side, the filmmaking element is fulfills that cup faster. Let me tell you the story. I
Yeah.
worked on this amazing project called Hipsters, uh Gangsters, and Geeks.
Okay.
Oh no, no, the title has changed now. It is now Aliens, Gangsters, and Geeks, I believe. They
Okay.
went through 3 different title changes, but the biggest part of it is that I ended up working directly with the director. His name is Richard Elfman. Now, that name might sound kind of familiar because the last name is Elfman, and Elfman is a big family in Hollywood. And he's a director, writer director. And I auditioned for this film. I didn't get in, but my friend was producing it, and so he was able to get me to be the director's assistant for 2 months. Now, Richard Elfman, he's 75 plus, and so while he's working on a film, he doesn't like to drive. He doesn't like to do anything that isn't just focused on the film. So I was literally his right-hand man the entire time for like 2 months. So I learned all about like what it takes financially to make a feature film, what it takes to structure out like time and to produce and make and the little details it takes, how to do casting. Since I didn't get booked, he needed an assistant like the next week. So I started helping him with a little bit of some of the smaller castings. When we got closer to filming, we started getting the main actors together to read, to be prepared for whenever we were filming. And so whenever actors weren't available, do you know who came in and read for all the other scenes? That was me. So
You
like,
did. How
yeah,
cool.
so I learned working with this director, and then that's not even including whenever we actually got to uh filming, the like 10 days of filming. We, of course, I got him coffee every day.
Yeah.
And then outside of that, I sat right next to him as he's right in the monitor directing. And then whenever he would be like cut and then he'd have an idea, he'd go to the actors. I'd go with him just to make sure he didn't need anything, but I'd just be a shadow and he would just be in there like talking to the actors. Oh, this is great, but then, move this way so that way the camera captures this one thing that you're doing, and then we come back down, we sit down, we watch the monitor again. And I learned so much doing that about the filmmaking process, about what it takes, and so that that experience that I had out in California was invaluable.
Yeah, that's like the best reroute you could get. If you can't have the main part, that is like that turned out to be better and more valuable to you.
Well, and the main actor wasn't necessarily available a lot, and so I was reading for his role with the other actors like throughout the entire process, just because he was busy doing things, and so our director would be like, "Oh, can we read with one of the other actors?" And I was like, "Yeah, I can read with whoever." And so I'm sitting there reading with all of them all of the time, and helping bounce ideas off them, and it was really great.
So you said something about, having the means to, fund your film. And that brings me to I've talked to a lot of authors or musicians that are doing it their own way. They're not signed with anybody big. So they have the jobs that pay the bills. Did you ever have to have those jobs that weren't in acting and weren't what
Oh,
you loved? And what were they if you did?
oh, yeah, yeah. Because I was in Los Angeles for 12 years, and the first uh I'll start there. Like whenever I moved back to Los Angeles the second time, I had saved about $20,000.
Hmm.
And I know, and that's whenever I tell people, they're like, "Whoa, whoa." But let me tell you, I had 4,500 the first time I went and I failed miserably.
Yeah.
It only lasted like 6 weeks. So the next time I was like, I'm gonna have so much more money. And so I did. I had about 20,000. Yeah, 18,500,
Yeah.
19,000, whatever. And so what I ended up doing is I ended up not working while I was in Los Angeles for like 6 months purposefully. Like I moved there and I said I had so much money saved up, I'm not going to work. What am I going to do instead? I'm going to say yes to everything that anyone asks me to do. So I ended up, because I'm saying yes to things, I'm making new friends in different pockets of the world of things. I joined different clubs. I joined a competitive dodgeball club. I was playing softball every other week, with people. I was going to a park. I was hanging out. I was finding friends online, new friends, people who enjoyed film stuff. I was saying yes to every student film that I auditioned. I just started auditioning for all the student films because USC is there, UCLA is there, Cal State, all these other schools, great colleges were there. And so I started getting into these short films. And those short films led to people later on asking me to be in their stuff because they remember me from their student film they did, 5 years prior.
Yeah.
But what did I have to do to work? I had to start working eventually, right?
Yeah.
Because I didn't just land everything. Yeah, no, I wish. But I ended up getting into the bartending and concierge world. So I was bartending at a bar, and then I was the concierge at a high-end hotel on the beach in Santa Monica.
Oh,
And so those are two kind of things that you are still interacting with people. So I was getting that,
yeah.
uh, while then pursuing the dream and auditioning and all with whenever I was getting those auditions. So,
Fantastic. It sounds like you're in a great place now, but what's your vision for the next 6 months, 5 years?
well, now let me clarify now. I work with an amazing company. It's called Arrow Senior Living, and I do hosting work for them as well as podcast producing and video production. So we have,
Awesome.
yeah, so I'm on Zoom all the time doing stuff for them. Uh, but they let me they basically have given me an untethered leash to be creative and to do creative things for them. Every week I host a nicely news program. So we come on here and we talk about the positive things that are happening at our communities. And so I'm on YouTube. We have close to 250 episodes of Arrow Nicely News. So shout out to Arrow and the things that they let me do for that. But what am I looking forward to? That is a great question in the next six months to a year. Well, now that I know that I can make a film and it be successful, as we did with Paradiso. And again, I'll even show you some of the different awards we
Oh,
won. Best actor at
mhm.
one of the film festivals. Best dramatic short film. Another best actor, best romantic film. Um, another best actor. It's crazy. Now that I know that I can do that, I
Yeah.
am currently writing my own pilot that I just finished the first draft of the pilot a few days ago. I'm going to make that sitcom, and then also I'm looking at producing an animated short as well as slowly getting the things together to do a feature film as well here in Southwest Missouri, here in the Ozarks. That's the goal. Everything here because we have a wealth of talent, in the Southwest Missouri area, and I feel like it is wildly underutilized because
Yes.
people just don't know. And so we can get great locations for very inexpensively. We if you have hookups, use them. You know what I'm saying? Like if you've got people who know people, use that. But then again, there's a couple different production companies in the Southwest Missouri area, which I didn't know about until I moved here and was like, oh, these are like legit, commercial production companies.
Yeah.
And so I'm very excited for these things. And I'm not on any timeline, Trina. Nope, nope, nope. I'm not on any set timeline because I
Yeah.
know it'll happen when it happens. But
Yeah.
I am pushing to write, pushing to rewrite, and then give it to my friends for them to like proofread and give me notes and stuff like that.
I
So
love it. And I hope that you'll come back when you have a next milestone and give us an update because this is so exciting. I love that you're making pathways for people right here in Southwest Missouri. What would you say to the people like me in voiceover or the actor out there that wants to be involved in this entertainment arena that you're in? How do they get started? What's your advice to them?
I get that question a lot,
Yeah.
actually, to, beginning actors that I meet, and a lot of them too in the Southwest Missouri, because I'm doing a lot of things with the Ozark Film Foundry.
Mhm.
I'm doing things, with the Sprinkle Theater, and so I'm getting asked that a lot. And really, you have to do a little bit of your due diligence when it comes to like finding things online. You have to be able to not resort on other people telling you how to do things, but you need to go out online and start searching keywords on Facebook, on Instagram, on these social media sites. Type in Springfield, you know, auditions, Southwest Missouri actors, Southwest Missouri film, Southwest Missouri movies, Kansas City actor stuff. Like if you literally type in these keywords, pages and pages of things will come up. And so get on that and see if you can find projects. But if you're looking to just get better as an actor, it really is, a bit of it is mimicry. So go find your favorite movies and then practice filming the scene, your favorite scene, similarly to the way that the movie shows. So therefore you can get used to saying dialogue into your camera. You know what I'm saying? Like you could just do those things to get better while you're typing up all the other things to find the gigs, the work, the roles.
I love it. Thank you so much for spending some time with me this morning and sharing what you're doing. I appreciate it. Good luck to you and congratulations for what you've done so far.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, if anybody wants to reach me in any kind of way, my social media is literally just Lenny Hernandez, at Lenny Hernandez. That's Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. What else are people? You can find any of my information there. Super happy to have been chatting with you today, Trina. Such a great medium that you have for people. And yes, absolutely. The next time, whenever I launch this sitcom that I'm doing, I'm gonna come back and we'll
All
chat
right.
all about it.
We're going to. Good. Thanks. Be sure you're watching and following along. You can link over to whichever platform you like from runradio.net. Thanks, Lenny.